This is the Retirement Bullpen with Richard Warner. The team at Warner Financial Solutions want to help you feel confident about your retirement, no matter where you stand. Get more at warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Now, the Retirement Bullpen.
Over the next few years, an estimated 10 million baby boomer-owned businesses worth nearly $10 trillion are expected to change hands as their owners retire. It's being called the Silver Tsunami. But what happens after the sale? How do these entrepreneurs turn decades of hard work into a lasting financial legacy? You're listening to the Retirement Bullpen, and today we are diving into the financial side of retirement for small business owners. We'll explore how to preserve their wealth from a business sale, avoid common tax pitfalls, and plan for life on the other side of entrepreneurship. And here to guide us through the tsunami waters is our host, Richard Warner. Richard is an investment advisor representative, certified retirement income professional, and owner of Warner Financial Solutions. You can learn more about Richard and his team at warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Richard, always a pleasure. How are you?
Doing great. How are you, Alyssa?
Wonderful. Silver Tsunami, 10 trillion, I said it with a T, trillion dollars worth of boomer-owned businesses about to change hands. When you look at a business that's preparing for a sale, what are the silent killers that you see derail value? And what does a business, sale-ready business look like?
Okay, so let's start with the silent killer. In my opinion, there's one big one that drives a whole lot of little things or could be perceived as little things. And the first thing is there's an assumption by most business owners, okay? Not all, but most business owners have this assumption that because they have generated maybe a really, really good income off their business or are currently generating really good income off their business, that somebody else will easily be able to step in, do what they've done, and they're going to want to buy or purchase that potential. So, and I say assumption because it's an assumption. So statistically, again, I'm not going to throw a lot of statistics out at you today, but statistically, 80% of privately owned businesses that go on the market in the U.S. today don't ever end up selling.
Wow.
They get basically nothing out of them. They have to continue in the business and just kind of, I hate to use the word, but run it into the ground. So there's a lot of reasons behind that. From the business owner standpoint, they are looking at it from why it benefited them, where the buyer is looking at it from the point of view, how can I, the buyer, come in and take this over? So let's look at a couple scenarios. Your customer relationship as an owner. I mean, I'm a business owner. I have a relationship with my customers. A lot of my customers deal with me because of our relationship.
Right.
That is very, very true in your small business, especially when you multiply maybe a small town, smaller community, more rural area. You have strong relationships with those customers. Okay. If you're gone, what happens to that relationship? Does that customer still want to do business with the new guy? Maybe, maybe not. Or new gal. I'm not trying to be sexist here, but could go either way, obviously. The guy just comes out of my mouth. I apologize, listeners.
All good. All good.
So that relationship is a big, big role. So a lot of business owners have what we call a lifestyle business, meaning it is their lifestyle as part of their life. But when they step away, the income may dramatically go away or could just completely be gone altogether. I'm going to use an example, and I'm going to use my dad and my brother as an example. I don't think they'd mind if they were listening. They have been, specifically my dad, he's been a business owner in Southeast Nebraska for 50 plus years now, I think. He has been a carpenter and remodeler. People come to him specifically because they want him to take their old bathroom, their old kitchen, whatever it might be, and turn it into brand new. And they will wait 6 months to 12 months on a list before he has time to get around to them to do the work because they want him. Now,
they know his quality of work. They know who he is. They know his reputation. They know he'll be on time, all of those things.
Exactly. So if I'm a potential buyer of his business, which his son, I actually am a junior of him. You think I would be, but I can't do that stuff. So if I bought his business, the only way I could make money with it is if I had somebody that could do what he did. Does that make sense? So from the standpoint of his business, it's not saleable to a potential buyer other than what the business owns that he could potentially liquidate, which is far less in his example, and in a lot of business owners' example, than what it would be if he could sell the processes, if he could sell the customer relationships, if he could sell the name. You can a little bit with the name in some situations, but not to the extent a lot of people own. And so a lot of people, business owners, just assume, hey, if it generated me this much, I can take it times this multiplier number and I'm going to get this out of it. And it's more times than not the case.
When you're saying all of this, what I'm hearing is that's actually a lot of small businesses. I think of my dad. He's a veterinarian in Maine. People know him because he's been the small town Maine large animal veterinarian for 40 plus years. So they know him. They have a relationship with him. He still does old fashioned farm calls, will drive out. There's no way of knowing if a veterinarian came in to buy his practice, if they would even still honor the large animal factor. So that's part of the sale issue. And then you think of like chiropractors. Again, it's the relationship. That's who you go in, you're doing a relationship. The salon, the hairstylist, you like that person doing your hair, not necessarily the person who's going to replace them.
Right.
So what do business owners do?
Well, there's no simple answer to that. There's a very long, involved process, and that creates part of the other issue is a lot of times a business owner is coming to us or somebody like us ready in his or her mind to retire, wanting to liquidate the business, because here's the other statistic that I'll throw out. 80%, I know it's a lot of 8%, but this is where it kind of boils down to, is 80% of a typical business owner's assets are tied up in his business. So he has to figure out a way to monetize that to retire, because he doesn't have a lot on the side saved on top of Social Security to generate the same income. So he's either got to sell that business for the funds to retire and create that retirement income stream, or he's got to dramatically downgrade his lifestyle, which most people don't want to do at that stage of life. So they're coming to us, or people like us, in the scenario that, hey, I'm ready to sell. I want to be out of this in the next year. And the reality is, it is a 3 to 5 year process at minimum to begin putting things in place, building value in your business, putting systems in place. What is in your head that is transferable to another potential owner that you can document, show proof of, demonstrate that this can turn into an income generating machine for you as it has for me? What about the employees that you do have? Are they going to stick around for? How much is that going to affect positively or negative? There's just a lot of factors, and it's not something you can turn around real quickly. There's a process you go through. And it's very difficult in that short time frame they're looking for, because they don't have a personal plan typically. They don't know what they're going to do after they've retired. They've been doing this for 50, 60, 70 hours a week for 35, 45 years, whatever it has been. And they just know they're going to retire. Well, you may drive yourself crazy, or your spouse crazy, or your significant other's crazy, or whoever it might be, because you don't have a plan in place, number one, of what you're going to do. Number two, how are you going to financially pay for it? And you're assuming, again, going back to that assumption, you're assuming, hey, I can turn this business that generates me whatever into a tenfold of that, and I'm going to use that cash to supplement, and you just don't know. So that 3 to 5 year process walks you through an kind of a system, if you will, of your own to build value in your business, create a lifestyle plan, create a financial plan so that you can and exit. And when you do, it's a successful exit. So we can fix some of those 80% negative statistics and turn them into more positive ones.
What are some of the red flags that you think buyers look at today when they're looking at business purchase?
Customer relationship with the owner, how involved the owner is, how dependent the business is on the owner, lack of systems, location, market potential, or the type of business it is. But probably the biggest one is, especially when you're talking a small one, is kind of what we've been addressing. And that is that business owner's relationship and attachment with the customer. Can I, the new owner, keep those relationships? Or when I spend all this money to buy this business, are those customers going to go elsewhere? And I'm going to just dump a bunch of money into something that I'm going to have to completely rebuild, and I'd have been better off starting from scratch. So that creates a big question mark in the buyer's mind. Almost scares them, like, maybe I should look at a different way of doing this.
So part of what you do is you're helping a potential seller look at changing it from a founder-run business to a system-run business, so that you can sell the system instead of just me as the founder.
Right. We do in the financial services industry all the time. You have lifestyle advisors, you have CEO-minded advisors. And one is more saleable than the other. Now, the nice thing in the financial world is we have, revenue streams. Not a lot of businesses have revenue streams that come in over and over and over and over again necessarily. Their customers are repeat customers, but it's based on those relationships. So,
from your experience, when does the planning really need to begin? You said 3 to 5 years. What happens when an owner starts too late? Is it we run into the issue where we're just not going to sell and we're going to fall into that 80%? Is there a threshold where we can maybe turn the ship? It's a little slower than we anticipated. Give me a starting point.
That's a really good question. And to be full disclosure, there's going to be some scenarios where if they don't start that soon, they don't have any chance. That's part of the process, is helping to evaluate what is that time frame going to be. What is a realistic time frame? 3 to 5 years is rough. Sometimes you can turn it around quicker.
Sure.
So some businesses can pull that off for a lot of different reasons. But one of the negatives, if you can, is you may not get near the price you want to get. So if you have this gap in your wealth gap of what you need to generate the income you need in retirement, let's just say it's $5 million, but you can only turn around $2 million with the sale of your business because of the time frame you have. That forces you could still take the deal as the buyer and the owner. You could still take the deal because it might be better than nothing. But it's going to force you into a situation where you've got to either downgrade your lifestyle or you're going to have to do something else on the side when you then sell your business, which, to be fair, a lot of business owners don't want to completely stop working. And sometimes it forces them into situations where maybe they have to work part-time in that business to help the new owner understand some of those systems and build that value with the new owner. That can also be a way, but then you get into the owner financing a little bit in that situation. So it's becoming more and more popular, but it's more risk for the owner then, because if your new buyer fails and you're financing, where does that leave you? Not in a good place in retirement.
And the reality is, for a lot of these small business owners, this sale of their business, that's their nest egg, if you will, that they're planning on for their retirement. They will have Social Security. They've paid into it like anybody else, but they're hoping they're going to get that, say, $3 million bonus at the end when they sell that business, because that's their retirement plan. So if they suddenly come in undervalued and they're only able to get $1 million out of it, that drastically changes what their retirement looks like.
Oh, for sure. It definitely does. It shortens the time frame they can draw on the money, or how much they can draw on the money, what they might want to leave to heirs, what their plans they had in their mind. It just completely changes what the possibilities are. Just like anything, you're going to take a vacation. If you have a third of the money you need, well, you're going to get to take a third of the vacation or just not have quite as much fun on that vacation.
Right.
Sit around the hotel and look at each other.
Right. No umbrella drinks for you. You can have water.
Yeah, exactly.
You briefly mentioned seller financing. We're hearing it as, we're seeing it in ads of businesses, boomer businesses that are popping up for sale. Is that a way to perhaps salvage some of the value that you have if you're willing to take a longer term payout versus that lump sum? Does it solve the problem of needing income in retirement? Talk me through a little of the pitfalls, pros and cons.
So one way I think it can help is maybe digging a little deeper into an earlier analogy, but one way I think it could potentially help is if I want to get out sooner than later, maybe for a lot of different reasons, it allows you a stepping stone to maybe cure some of those concerns in the mind of the buyer. For example, if you have a lifestyle business, or not trying to get rid of that sounds bad, but you want to sell it.
Yeah.
But you don't have those processes in place. You have a lot of customer relationships. You doing seller financing, maybe partnering with the owner in that agreement on a part-time basis over a period of time to train them, to help them maintain those relationships, to transition those relationships over to him, and having him pay you off over time from revenues of the business could create more overall bang for your buck out of it. But you're taking more risks to get that.
Right.
Because you might, as we said, you might run into that scenario where it doesn't work out. He's not good or she's not good at it. And they give up on it. And then, well, the only option you have is to basically take the business back and go back into it. Then you might create a longer process for yourself in that situation. But there are ways, and it is flexible. There's not a cookie cutter way to do it necessarily. it really goes back to any kind of planning with anything that you're going to do is where are you looking to get? What's your vision of this? How are we going to get from point A to point B? And then outlining the best tools and paths to get you to that point. But
certainly selling a business is multifaceted, and we're going to dive into, there's so much more that we want to uncover with this. After we have a successful sale, there's dealing with the taxes and how we learn to live with that post working all of these years. But we're going to dive into that on the next one. If this first round has you wondering or maybe rethinking whether or not your business is ready to put on the market, you can schedule a complimentary consultation with Richard by visiting warnerfinancialsolutions.com. Sit down, have that conversation. Again, the ideal time is 3 to 5 years before you're ready to sell. If that clock is ticking on your business, a conversation earlier rather than later is always a good place to start. And of course, be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening so that you don't miss our follow-up episode where we will discuss more in depth about what happens after you sell. Thanks for tuning in.
Insurance products are offered to the insurance business Warner Financial. Warner Financial is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Warner Financial are not subject to investment advisor requirements. NPN number 7617022. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be considered as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Warner Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Warner Financial.